Good morning. Hello, I'm Lise Colucci, and I am one of the life coaches at queenbeing.com, where we help you to discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. Good. Hello, Nick and Vicky and Karina. How are you guys? What are we saying here? Just reading real quick. Having an issue with my child's mother, who's a covert narcissist. She's trying to wiggle in and damage my relationship now with your kid. Is that what you mean? Okay, we'll talk about that a bit, and then we'll get to the topic. So, hi, Jack. Let me just start with, if anyone needs help with narcissistic abuse recovery, head over to queenbeing.com, where there is a ton of information and links to groups where you can access peer support, and there is information to articles or links to articles and videos and all kinds of good information over there. If you need coaching, it can also be found over there. Everything is in the description of every video. And just so you know, right now through January 1st, my 1-hour coaching rates are 35% off. So it's a deal from now through January 1st. So, okay, holiday special. All right. There's that. And then also the group coaching that runs Wednesdays, 3:30 or 5 Pacific. And then again, 11 on Fridays, 11 a.m. Pacific, starts again next week. So November's coming up. So just letting you know that's available. It's also in the main description of every video. Okay, let's get started. We are going to talk about cerebral narcissists. I'm going to talk to Nick here real quick about this narcissist wiggling in and damaging relationship. What is she doing? The alienation thing is tough. We should probably do a video just about that. It's a big topic to talk about without a whole lot of detail. Say more through this so that I can talk to it a little bit more personally. Generally, if they're feeling threatened, if they're feeling like they need to pull control, if they're feeling like they need to, stir up the pot, be dramatic, whatever they're feeling they need to do, this is when they start doing this alienation thing. And so it can be a matter of making them think that they're getting their way when they're really not. It can be a matter of, all kinds of subtle tricks to diffuse whatever is creating the drama that they need to be creating. So without knowing details, it's hard to talk to it. But I'm sorry that's happening because they're awful. All right. Okay. My significant, hi, Trinity Fire and Angela. Hello. And Darla, 57 days, no contact. Hey, excellent. All right. You married a cerebral narcissist. Okay. So you hopefully can help me out here. I've got lots to say. So let's start with this topic, cerebral narcissism. They are the arrogant, intelligent, cold, calculating narcissist that can take an intelligent person, because they like intelligence as well. They need someone to talk to, someone to be around that they feel they're competitive with their intelligence with, right? They can take an intelligent person and make them feel like the most insignificant mind on the planet. They can completely destroy someone's sense of their own intelligence and their own, let's just talk about what are some of the traits of the cerebral narcissist. Oh, forgot to say, I'm all over the place. It's Monday. All right. If you want texting notification of my going live, text me at 33222. Put the word Lise Live, Liselive. Hit send, and I will text you 10 minutes before going live. I don't know why it came late today. I sent it early. So it happens, but try to go 10 minutes before so you have some notification. All right. That's exactly what I'm going through, a cold and calculating narcissist. Hi, Violet. Hi, Bonnie. They override your surveillance cameras. They can hack your phones, log into your computer strokes, and track your locations. Yes, they can. They are smarter than everyone. They are smarter than everyone, said sarcastically. Oh, no. Oh, no, we're not going to start that today. I know it is. Oh, my gosh. Please don't start that. Oswald, come here. Don't start that today. No. It's always on Mondays. I don't know what's going on out there on Mondays. Okay. All right. My mom is a cerebral narcissist in the mental health care industry. She diagnosed me with numerous mental health issues all through childhood. Because they know better than everyone else. No. Oh, I know what's happening. This isn't right. Okay, guys. We got the bark chain going. We got the neighbor dog. Okay. I'm going to have to get up and take care of this. You guys, no, we got the neighbor dog barking because another neighbor dog's barking because somebody's out blowing leaves. And it's a neighborhood. And what do? All right, so we'll just ignore them. It's not the frog. Today it's the leaf blower. Hang on. I'm going to just do this. You guys? Shh. Come here. In. Quiet and be quiet. You be quiet. I love you dearly. Be quiet. Hey, Elias, I'm working. Don't let him bark. I'm working. Okay. I'm back. Hi. Okay, here we go. No frogs, just leaf blowers, neighbor dogs. They got a puppy. Okay, neighbor dog's got a puppy. The puppy's 100 pounds, but he's a puppy. And they put him on a little thing, and when they're out blowing the leaves, and then the dog can sit outside with them. But of course he barks, and then it sets off the barks. Okay, that's more than you needed to know. Anyway, okay, so my ex-husband it was 19 years ago. You would think I would have learned. My cousin used to say, you act like you think he's God. Used to tell me he had private investigators watching me. It's awful. They're very calculating. It is a big puppy. It's huge. Yeah, it's cute. All right. I mean, he's almost a year now, but whatever. Okay, so here we go. They need to be intellectually superior and more intelligent than everybody else. They need to, not only do they think they are and do they project that onto everyone, they need the reassurance and the, if you don't give them that, they will break you down so that they become that. In other words, they will find ways to make you seem less intelligent than they are because they need that superiority over other people. Okay. Okay. What am I saying here? What did I write down here? They act like they have some philosophical ideology. Like they are philosophically superior. Like they have some moral philosophical code that they live by. They act like, and they use that and kind of twist it so that they can get away with doing things that are toxic under the guise of some philosophical ideal. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. What? Oh, there goes the puppy. There goes the puppy. No, guys, it's the puppy. Hey, Oswald, it's the puppy. You want to go out with the puppy? No, shh. The puppy doesn't want to play. Okay. All right. Oh, this may not work today. I may have to redo this later. I really may. Okay. Hey, stop. Now. It's so funny. They can go like every day completely silent, and then there's just a day. All right. Let's see. It's that dog is not going to stop barking next door. He's just not. He's barking at like every leaf that blows. Okay. I think mine override my Google Home and messes with it now. I bought a new one. Can't deal with it. My ex was a covert narcissist. I think she's worse in some ways. Covert narcissists can also be cerebral. I think a lot of times they're blended. A truly cerebral narcissist are the arrogant, pompous, highly intelligent, cold and cunning, almost anti-sexual, withholding, non-affectionate, very clinical and cunning types of people. Of course, there can be blending of other. It's not like they're one thing, right? People aren't just one thing. They can be also very covert. So they can be both. I believe mine was both, because he had a lot of these traits, except he had the sexual traits of a somatic narcissist. So I think they can blend, honestly. At least that's what my experience is. Okay. All right. It's life. It happens. Dog. I know it just like, okay. The covert is using my child as a tool of manipulation. My significant other doesn't understand narcissism. I recognize the traps, but my partner can't understand. Can you get your partner to watch some videos about what covert narcissism is? I think I have 2, and Angie has a bunch too. So could you get them to just watch a video or 2 to understand covert narcissism? Mine in particular, I know I just spout a bunch of examples, other people's examples. Like I had people tell me things that were traits that they saw in covert narcissists, and I just read them all. So that might be useful to them, because then they can see, oh, okay, it's not just what you're telling me. This is actually a thing, right? That might help you so that you can create some strategies together to deal with it, instead of having someone that doesn't understand kind of unintentionally undermining or unintentionally giving you advice that isn't useful. Does that make sense? All right. What are we talking about? The group coaching. Yeah, the group coaching's fun. It's awesome. And there is a lot of chat between people in there. So that is helpful for people a lot. Okay. The narcissist would make me feel like I was inferior because I didn't have the degrees yet. Made me feel intense shame. I don't know why I believe that. You believed it because they program you to believe it, because they undermine you in the most subtle ways to make you feel like your lack of achievements and their extreme achievements, like there's some actual meaning to that, like the competitiveness. There's like an incredible competitiveness when it comes to intellect with a cerebral narcissist. That's where they focus their grandiose delusions. Truth is, they usually are pretty intelligent. The other truth is their emotional intelligence is like a 5-year-old, just like every other narcissist, because they lack accountability and they lack, without self-awareness, true self-awareness, without empathy, and without the ability to be accountable to what you see. When you're being self-aware, doesn't mean seeing yourself only. It means you have to take accountability for what you see and be willing to be open to change, or willing to be open to growth, right? You can't do that if you are so locked in your ego thinking, but I'm smarter than everyone else. Yeah, I can see that I do that, but I have my reasons for doing that. They can reason their way out of anything, these cerebral narcissists. They can talk their way through and out of everything. Their word salads are like the most cunning and exacting words that make you feel completely stupid. And it doesn't take a whole lot of words. They don't need to, a lot of them do monologue, but they don't need to monologue in order to do that, because they have the intelligence and the understanding enough to twist things quickly. And yeah, it's awful. Okay. So so I write this like super neat, and then of course I can't read it because it's too neat. All right. They're undermining and demeaning of others all the time, right? So they're always having to put people down and demean them, but they don't do it usually in the way that might be direct insults, or it's all subtle, cunning put downs. It can be direct too, of course, but often it's you can almost see the reasoning. There is an extreme arrogance within the realm of intelligence. So when it comes to how smart they are, how good they did something, how well they achieved something, there's a lot of arrogance. It can look like self-confidence when you're first seeing it, but after a while you start to feel that it's actually arrogance that you're seeing. Because self-confidence allows for other people to succeed. That's the difference, okay? If I am self-confident, if I know I'm dang good at something and I'm like, heck yeah, I'm good at that. I own it. I'm totally confident with that. I also want everyone around me to be good at something, whether it be the same thing I'm doing or their own thing. I don't have the need to put other people down in order to make my achievement look better. Arrogance does. So there's an arrogance about them. Let's see. My ex definitely thought he was smarter than everyone, but he definitely didn't have the chops to back it up. He was calculating and sneaky and not really that intelligent. There's that too. They don't necessarily need to be that intelligent. They just know how to use the intelligence they have to make it look like they're smarter than they are. Even the ones that are highly intelligent are making it look like they're smarter than they are because they're trying to blend in emotional intelligence that doesn't exist with them. All right. Everything is a game. That's right. Is that a cerebral narcissist places the higher value on their type of intelligence, academic? I think so. I think when they might say, like, if they're in academics, they might really play up that is the most important and the most valuable form of intelligence. And someone that is maybe mechanically inclined is stupider than them. But that person who's mechanically inclined could do amazing things. It doesn't matter. So in other words, yeah, they're not going to build up anyone else in any other form of intelligence. And then they compete with people who are in the same level of intelligence. And they like to surround themselves with intelligent people so that, of course, number one, it's probably stimulating for them to speak, but they like the competition. All right. Their views are final and correct. That's exactly true. They will lie to fill in any blanks. Snobbishness, like a snob, that's a hard word to say, like a snobbishness of sorts. Yes, everyone is dumb to them. I noticed that there were time he could have really broken me, but it was like he couldn't see the opportunity because of his emotional blind spots. Ooh, that's interesting. How do we get away, especially from 33 years? You just go. You plan it and you leave and you step out. I mean, how do you get away ever? It doesn't matter how long it is, 1 month or 33 years, getting away is getting away, right? You plan it, you figure out how you can support yourself and get away. And that's the practical side is going to be different for every person. People have gone as far as needing domestic violence shelters to family members to getting jobs and stashing away money and anything that to filing to being very covert and very secretive and very cunning in your own ways of seeking legal advice so that a divorce is not financially draining you, so that there's equality in the finances in the divorce. So doing that before they know anything, keeping things status quo, not letting them know a dang thing's going on, and seeking legal counsel. That's another way people get out. So if you're talking about emotionally, it's jumping in the deep end. That's what it is. There's never a right time. There's never a good time, a right time, a better time. If only I felt this, if only I felt that. It always hurts. It's always hard. It is freedom though. And sometimes freedom takes just jumping and doing it and trusting that this is a better path than the one that you're in. What are we saying? If you notice, they don't believe in God because they believe they are a God. They absolutely do believe they're the ultimate thing. All narcissists kind of believe that. Even the religious ones, and we should do one on that too. Even the ones that are highly religious with the religious abuse, they're not believing in anything greater than themselves. They're identifying as that greater thing and using it to manipulate people. So, very good point. He's offended me repeatedly with his put down on my beliefs. Interesting. They have a problem with God, spirituality, religion, not scientific. Oh, I think they would if the theory didn't fit with what worked for them. They think, wait, where are we talking about? I'm going to be a grandma. This is bad. Why? What makes it worse because of that? Not being a grandma, just hard to leave because chaos when a new baby is being born. You've probably put other people before yourself your whole life, is what I'm hearing. And it's getting support around you, having a support network around you before you do anything might help you. Yeah. And not letting him know what's going on until you're ready to make the move, and making sure that you are legally represented when you're dealing with a cerebral narcissist is probably important. Especially you don't want finances frozen on you, and yeah, that whole thing. So I've started limiting company to hide my money. What are we saying? May I suggest gift cards when you can't withdraw cash? That's a good suggestion. Yes. It's already lined up his flying monkeys. And then it's hard to trust anyone, right? So support groups, finding new things of your own. So you're creating new friends outside of that, so that you have, some support, at least for social things, so that you can at least get away from it. A therapist, like people that have your back through this could be important. Hi, Victorious. Excellent idea. Okay. So let's keep going. Cerebral narcissists. They believe they need to show the world that they are a gift to the world, right? They believe so they, what do I want to say about that? They boast, and they want everyone to see how incredibly gifted they are, and they believe that the world wants to see that and cares. All right. Not too many therapists around understand and narcissistic personality disorder. You're right. So what I would look for then is either, if you can do coaching, do that. If you can't, and it's an insurance thing or whatever, look for a therapist that can do trauma support, like traumatic recovering from PTSD type of things, or someone that works with people who are codependent, or people who are making life changes. So a lot of times you can just say, I'm making some life changes that are huge, and I need some guidance while I work through these life changes. They don't need to understand and help you with the narcissistic abuse stuff, but they can help you with how to work with yourself through it. Does that make sense? And then you coming here and keeping on your own path and other places that you go for the narcissistic abuse. Sometimes we have to sort of fragment the support we're getting. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't go to, a certain doctor that doesn't cover certain things for the certain thing. And you have to just split it up and sometimes piece the support together. So figuring out what you could benefit from, what you need, like this picture, any divorce, that's a life transition. So a therapist that's good with life transitions might help. And you don't really need to go into the narcissistic abuse part. It's just about you and helping you transition and do a new path in life. Does that make sense? And that might help you. I don't know. That's what I would do if I had no access to a therapist that was schooled or I trusted with this stuff. And I would be careful not to talk too much about the narcissism, because people who don't understand it can give you really bad advice, even therapists. They can give you really wrong information. It happens all the time. So yeah, keeping it about you and and if it goes one direction, say, no, I want to talk about it. I mean, you can guide the therapy without needing to say a whole lot, right? How are other narcissists different from cerebral narcissists? Well, okay, let me read some more of these, and then I'll try to do some comparisons to like what a somatic or my words today. I don't know. I think I took too relaxing of a weekend. Getting a little tension, then I can get my words going. Okay. Anyway, let's keep going. All right. Let's see. They try when they're love bombing you to make you think you are very intellectual. And then later they devalue you by making you feel really dumb. So they give you the boosting of how intelligent you are. It is so nice to have a conversation with someone of your level of intelligence. They'll say things like that. It is, I always know that I can come to you with these conversations because we are intellectually equal, that kind of way of thinking. And then once you're in the relationship with them, you can't say anything right. They're always right. You're always wrong. They needed you there to be the thing to prove their intelligence. So they have to devalue you. They have to keep you beneath them in order to keep their superiority. And the more down they press you, the more up they go. Sickness. Okay. They're intellectually competitive. They hate conflict because they devalue you constantly. Yes. It is Mercury retrograde. It's affecting my words. Okay. Don't tell people without knowledge of, yeah, right. It can. I feel like I have to be sneaky and I loathe it. I've always been very positive and direct with people. That is the problem with any form of narcissistic abuse and being in a relationship. You become something you do not want to be. We become sneaky. We become suspicious. We become all kinds of things that we don't want to be. And when we value our authenticity and our ability to speak openly with people and our communication skills, and we have to completely not use any of those because we have to actually go against it. They make us a narcissistic abusive relationship. When you know you're being manipulated, it makes you have to act against your own moral code. And that's what's awful. That's the biggest boundaries that you're breaking are the ones to yourself. So you have to become unpredictable. That's right. Call them out and they decimate you. Exactly. They don't like conflict because they'll create enough of their own conflict, but that's not conflict. They don't like being confronted. They don't like being questioned on their authority and their superiority or anything. It can be simple. You didn't even mean to it as a conflicting topic and they lose it. They can't stand it. They will go into instant gaslighting and, okay, so another thing is semantics. When you speak to them, if you don't use an exact language, when you're speaking to a cerebral narcissist, if you don't use exact language, if you're me and you mix up your words now and then because your mind's going fast, and it's not that you're not smart, it's just that your mind goes fast and you have lots of words flying around in it every second of the day. And you might use a word that is slightly not the right word intended for the situation. It's just a little bit off of a word. Can't think of an example, but you know what I'm talking about, where you just don't say the exactly what you mean, like exactly what you mean. That is completely, they can take that, say, why did you say, purple when it was really lavender? Completely derails the whole conversation. It becomes about the semantics. They love doing that. Cerebral narcissists love doing that. They love picking apart your language and making it seem like everything you said is completely false and stupid because you use the word lavender instead of purple or whatever, purple instead of lavender. You use the slightly wrong word. Another thing they do along those lines is they like to take your intent and twist it. So they like to basically, something that you say that is something of your own thoughts, beliefs, and feelings. And they will tell you that the intent and your interpretation, their interpretation is based on what they assume your intent is. All narcissists do that, but the cerebral narcissist has a very special way with words with this, where it's so fast for you to believe what they're saying. The gaslighting is phenomenally powerful when they are involved with that kind of thing. Okay. They always think you're up to something. Someone stole their soul and they're trying to steal ours to replace it. They are trying to steal the very essence of your light. That's for sure. The narcissist used to correct my word usage. It was so annoying. I should literally read you the first, oh, here goes the barking. There's the neighbor dog. Hey, shh, go back to sleep. Good dogs. I should literally read you the first few sentences of my letter I sent to him, which I still need to rewrite and write it more generally. so that I can speak to all the narcissists out there about how it's not about them. Sorry, we aren't giving you supply anymore. And anyway, I wrote this letter, and which in turn got me told I was crazy and do I need to call the authorities because you're clearly lost your mind? How could you say all these things? How could you think that that was what was going on? That kind of thing. But anyway, the point with this is having to speak to someone with that kind of mind. It sounds like it reads like some clinical scientific, I don't even know what. It's like to me it reads like some Victorian letter that was sent to business acquaintances back in the 1800s. Like, it is not me talking at all. It isn't my voice. It isn't my expressions. If you see me here, this is me, okay? It's not that. It's basically, the consequences of the blah, 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 blah. It's so funny. But anyway, it's not funny, but that's the way you have to speak to them. If you speak to them in any other language, they'll tear it apart. If you speak from emotion, they'll tear you apart, the cerebral narcissist. They don't do emotion. They don't do emotion at all. If they do, it's very obvious stuff. And it's very like they're doing it almost by rote. They're not doing it from emotion. Do cerebral narcissists have a propensity? I can't talk today. Do they have a propensity for cyberbullying? I would think so. Like going and attacking other people. Basically exactly what we're talking about, breaking down other people's thoughts and opinions and not actually talking to the point of what the person was saying, but talking to about the person and attacking the person who said the thing because they didn't say it in the correct exact way. Blah, blah, blah. So they'll break down tiny points and make the person look like an idiot, right? Okay. Mine did a lot of crossword puzzles and corrected my sentences constantly. I can't talk. I don't know what's wrong. Okay. Okay. Dismiss and degrade. They tend to be official contributors to the knowledge sites. Oh, yeah. There you go. I guess we all have our purpose. All right. What else? They're emotionally very non-intelligent. We talked about that. They're emotionally no concept of emotions. It's like they learned the right things to say. Exactly. They're emotionally learned. They can be emotionally learned. They can be spiritually learned. They can learn the right things to say to make it look like they understand what the emotions are, but they're almost so out of, I think that they have emotions. Scroll up to what? To you again, Stacy? Did I miss something? Oh, I don't know what I'm scrolling up to. It's hard for me to scroll. I'm not good at it. I lose my place and it jumps. Other questions. Oh, okay. I'm scrolling up. You may have to ask me questions twice today. Clearly I'm like single focused today. Walking on eggshells, right? Yes, it's like walking on eggshells. They switch with you, slowly stealing your identity and push theirs into you. The narcissist is to correct mine is doing severe long-term silent treatment. What do I do when being gaslit in silent treatment? Enjoy the silence. Seriously, enjoy the silence. Silent treatment is received by the person who is having it done to them in the pain center of your brain, where your body feels pain. When your brain fires off, when your body feels pain, same place fires off when you are given the silent treatment. Okay, they've done MRI studies and shown this. Okay, so change the script in your own head. The silent treatment is a vacation from their mouth running. Okay, and you're not waiting for them to fix it for you anymore because they can't fix it for you. Them fixing it for you by talking to you is reinforcing trauma bonding. So the silent treatment, let it piss you off. Really, let it get you mad. Let it have the feelings that it should have, which is that person is acting like a child. And I don't need a child of this age in my house as my partner, right? Let it be the part of, write it down, write down the, silent treatment, write it all down, all these abuses, so that you see it very clearly. And yeah, that's what you do. When you're being gaslit, you gray rock. You don't respond, or you respond very, oh, is that right? Okay. I hear what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Hey. Or you do that, as Goswald says, but do it on the inside. When you're gray rocking, understand that you know the truth of what's going on. They're gaslighting. It's all you have to say to yourself. Oh, here goes the gaslighting. Not out loud, and don't roll your eyes because they'll see it. But yeah, you just become boring and let them and then go into silence and just watch, observe the way they're being, observe the way you feel when it's happening, and realize you don't need that for your life. All right. Okay, what else did I miss? I got that one. They tend to be official. Okay, we got that. See, that's what happens when I John's like, okay, they are posers. Yes, they are. At the beginning, I was told that he's only into intelligent women like me and admired my passion for reading. At the end, I was told that I can't use my own brain, and that's why I read too much. Perfect example of how they flip the script on the very thing that they claim to enjoy about you in the beginning, when they're love bombing you through telling you how intelligent and wonderful you are. Yeah. And then they knock you off your pedestal that they had put you on, and then you feel completely in question of your own intelligence, right? Okay. Cold empathy, correct. A fake acting like they're real. I'm so glad you did this topic. I'm sorry for ranting on here. You can rant all you want. Just keep going. I'm just reading them because it's actually helpful to get more to say about this topic. Okay. Okay. So pain and silent treatment is the same part of the brain. Interesting, isn't it? It is clinically and technically and absolutely abuse to give someone the silent treatment. And it's funny, I told mine that before I understood that you weren't supposed to tell them everything. That's why I say, don't tell them anything. Just trust me, it doesn't work anyway. I told him that. He never did the silent treatment again because he didn't want to be an abuser. He didn't believe me. He said, that's not true. I said, look it up. So he did, and never did the silent treatment again. Instead, it became monologues, endless monologues. So don't tell them that, because let me tell you, the silent treatment is so much better than the endless monologues. Those are painful because you can't ignore it. You have to like sit and stare at them while they're doing it, or they get up in your face and they make you look at them. The endless monologues. Yeah. So don't tell them. But yeah, that is where anyway, okay. Silent treatment sucks. It does, but it can also be a vacation from the endless noise. It jumped. Okay. I loved the silent treatment. It is painful. Yeah. They explain the emotion academically rather than genuinely show it. Right. I think it's not that they don't necessarily feel emotion. Of course, they feel emotion. It's the access to being able to express the emotion, and the not only that, it's the willingness to drop ego enough to share emotion. I don't think it's even that they can't express it. I think they could fully express it if they wanted, but it's the unwillingness to drop the ego enough to share the expression of emotion, because that would mean we're equal. We both have feelings, right? They can't be equal. Yeah. Okay. There is minimal affection. It's all weird. Sometimes, where'd it go? Sometimes I'll taunt her a bit as to piss her off and get my own silent treatment vacation. I don't blame you. They make you, yeah. They can drive you absolutely to your end, to your wit's end, right? to the end of it. Team Tiger Roar. You're all fired up now. Some breaths. We'll have to like calm this down in a little bit so that we don't leave here all upset. All right. Controlling all the decisions, finances, everything. Super controlling. That's the next thing I was going to come to. Cerebral narcissists are super controlling. All narcissists are controlling. Cerebral narcissist controls. Yeah. Right. Okay. I mean, they're all controlling, really, but there is the controlling element. Talk about it. How do they control? That's through decisions, through the finances, all of that stuff, because you're not capable of making a proper decision. You're not capable of handling finances because they're so much smarter and they do everything else so much better, right? Just learning I was just kidding as a response is actually gaslighting too. He said that all the time. High spirit led poetry. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I was just kidding. That's, what do they call that? There's a name for that. Today is not the day for words for me, so I'm not going to even sit and worry about it. But yeah, I'm just kidding. What's the matter? I was just joking. It was just a joke. Why don't we still take it so seriously? It was just a joke. Yep. That's gaslighting. It's kind of passive aggressive too, right? They control what you wear. That's a fun one. Oh yeah. And they can, yeah. Mine said mine has had a knockdown or two regarding what you wear. I'm upset, but I laugh out of the remark. Silent treatment vacation. Okay. Couldn't wear certain fabrics. Interesting. Lise, why do they need to spy and then blackmail you with the video footage after they trigger you and set you to control you? They need to spy to prove that if they are putting you always in the hot seat, they can get away with anything, right? They don't have to be accountable for anything if you're always in trouble, if they're always catching you doing something. Even if what they're catching you doing is actually nothing. It gives a way to take the focus off them and put it onto you. Plus, they're suspicious because they're projecting, because they're off doing something everyone else must be too. They tend to be delusionally, narcissists in general tend to be paranoid about what other people are doing because they're off doing things. So they think the world thinks like them. They know that there are people with more, they know there's a difference, I'm sure, because otherwise they wouldn't be after people who have such high amounts of empathy quite as much. You see them with other narcissists, but it's more rare, right? That was my sister that spied at my mother's house. They are paranoid and delusional. Yes. There is an element of delusion in the diagnostic. So yeah, delusions of grandeur, but it's more than that, right? It's more than just I'm better than others. I'm better than others and I have to prove it through these means. And there's the whole world they set up is one of delusion because it's all based on the ego that they are trying to protect as their real self. And the whole world has to accommodate and match the picture that they're painting. So if they have painted you as highly intelligent, they will take you out in public and show you off as highly intelligent, but then at home they'll devalue you because you can't be more intelligent than them. And so therein lies that weird thing where you get the cognitive dissonance where you're thinking, but they're always playing it up like I'm so smart. We go to a dinner party and I'm talking more than they are, and they sit back and they love watching me talk, having these conversations with people, and we get home and then they'll break me down and make me feel like this big intellectually. So what's happening, right? Okay. I was told to dress slutty, which I didn't, and then was called slutty for benign clothing. Yeah, right? All right. The spy thing, I had to install cameras everywhere because he was breaking in to gaslight. Oh my gosh. Yes, they have to paint the picture. They drive the narrative. Yes, they do drive the narrative. It's impossible. You end up feeling defeated. You do. So another thing with a cerebral narcissist is they have a tit for tat attitude. Everything is an exchange. Like everything is, I'll do this if you do that. If you do this, I'll do that. Everything has to be even. They can't, it's like a child, right? It's like their emotions aren't, it makes sense at first. You don't catch it. And then all of a sudden you realize you're living in a transactional world. And a lot of narcissists are this way. I feel like the cerebral narcissist really has this down really well. They act as if you're doing what they are doing, lying, stealing. Yeah, they do, because they're projecting. But they don't tell you the rules, right? And they're always keeping score. Absolutely. Our cerebral's harder to identify. I was thinking he was on the autistic spectrum for a long time. I think because of the lack of emotion, it can be, or the lack of emotional, like a more somatic narcissist, a narcissist that's just like, gets really mad and gets in your face, and there's all this emotional drama, like stuff going on, and it's obvious, right? But when someone never yells at you and it's very covert, so a lot of these people are very covert narcissists as well. How can you identify there's even a problem? It takes a long time to identify there's a problem. So yeah, I think because they keep their emotions kind of at a simmer, then it's harder to see the extremes, right? Okay. What else? They belittle in an interesting way, don't they? They belittle with just subtly knocking you down intellectually through picking apart what you say, through why did you do it that way, through criticizing the way you do things like that. You will feel often this need to be perfect, that you, that you can't do anything right. Maybe you never realized that you were a perfectionist before, but you certainly do now. You feel like everything you do is wrong, like everything, like why even try? Because everything I touch, I break. Like, you feel like that often around these people, and it gets worse and worse the longer you're with them. What's the difference between a cerebral narcissist and the covert narcissist? I think that truly cerebral narcissist that someone would classify as that is lacking things like, okay, well, actually, I think of them as two different things, and I could be wrong here, but this is the way I see it. Okay, so the cerebral narcissists have all these traits we're talking about. The covert part can be either. It can be, I should have done a comparison chart, which I didn't, to the different types, cerebral narcissist and the somatic narcissist. And I didn't, so I'll do that another time. But covert is the way someone delivers. Covert versus overt. A covert narcissist, you're not going to be able to tell. It's very sneaky. It's very underhanded. There's lots of passive aggressive behavior. There's lots of subtle, quiet abuse. An overt narcissist is a boastful, proud, arrogant person that basically allows their narcissism to be overtly expressed. Does that make sense? And a covert one just says, I'm a victim. I don't hurt people. I don't abuse people. I'm not better than anyone else. I'm the same as everyone else. It's just not my fault. Everyone's stupid. Right? So it's in the delivery and in the way that they express the narcissism, whereas the cerebral part is more the actual style of the person's. Is that making sense? Again, my words today. I talk about cerebral narcissism on a day I have no words. It's perfect. I don't care. Yes, they could be both. I think so. And I also think that most people are not 100% one thing. It's not like I am a cerebral narcissist, someone might say. There are some people who absolutely are. Like that is how, but I think that there are some that blend. Like I said, mine had all of these traits, except for like two. He was highly sexual. Most cerebral narcissists withhold sex and are almost asexual appearing. They're not, and he was highly affectionate. Most cerebral narcissists are not. But every other thing, He had that. So I think I don't think there is one thing. I think we classify it in order to understand it, but it really doesn't. It's not like one thing. It helps to understand it because when you've lived through someone like this, you realize you're not stupid and you're not alone. That's the only reason for understanding it. It's not like it's going to change anything knowing what they are, right? So I felt like a big nothing. I'm not, and I know that now. He brought my vulnerabilities to the surface. It will be hard to trust again. Learn to trust yourself. Learn to trust your own experiences and your own wisdoms and your own living and your own everything. Learn to trust you. Learn to trust that you can sit inside yourself and have the feelings that you have and the thoughts that you have, and that they're genuine and real, and that your exchanges with people are honest and fair and whatever. Learn to trust that. And other people, it takes time. And not everyone's worth the trust, right? So that's okay. It doesn't make you bitter or broken. It makes you wise. It is making everything more clear. Okay, good. Because I'm feeling like I'm talking a little mush today. My cerebral was covert in his abuse, but it was highly overt when it came to proving how smart he was. There you go. And that makes sense. See, I don't think people aren't just one thing. That's like saying, as an empath, are you one thing? As a human being, are you one thing? No, we have different flavors and different nuances to how we behave. So, but people tend toward more one way and less the other way, so someone that's a cerebral narcissist will tend more toward these things. And there's definite differences between like highly intelligent narcissists and ones that are not. Right? Okay. But they all think they're great. They all think they all think they're smarter than everyone. That was punishment, withholding, including sex. Yep. It's punishment. They all use sex. Sex and narcissism is about control. They all use sex. A lot of the more cerebral narcissists will use the withholding tactic in order to punish, control. For some reason, they don't need it. They usually are porn addicts, so they get it that way. But they can control that. That's a controlled environment that they're watching, that they can control what they're viewing, that they can pretend they're controlling the situations in the scenes. It's sick. So it's all about control. All right. When I didn't want to have sex, he'd call me abusive. There you go. There's that too. It's all about control. It's not a mutually exchanged sharing of affection. No, it's not even for fun. It's all about ownership and control. And they're basically having sex with themselves, no matter what. Or withholding. Okay. I thought mine was gay, right? Because it can be extreme. It's just currency. Everything's currency. And sex is big currency because most people want a rich and fulfilling sex life. If they get to control that, heck yeah, they have the bank, right? No, it's okay. Porn addict and he had ED. I don't care. We can talk about whatever here. If I tried to hold hands, oh yeah, it made his hand limp like a dead fish. And this is a lot of cerebral narcissists do not like public affection or any affection to be shown outside of when they choose to give it. A lot of them. See, that's where I had a different situation. So I'm like, that's interesting. But yeah, I've heard that over and over again. So yeah, the lack of affection, lack of physical sharing of physical affection. They use their mind to prove their uniqueness. We talked about that a little bit. No interest in sex. We talked about that just now. They have intelligence over heart. We talked about that. I'm just going through the notes here, seeing if I missed anything. My ex-narcissist was a huge porn addict and had ED as well. It's control yet again. Why do they walk ahead of you in public? Ownership, dismissiveness, devaluing, because they want to, because they get to a point where the devaluing is part of the nature of how the relationship goes. And I think they feed off it. It is embarrassing. It's horrible. It's the worst. To me, that's one of my biggest red flags. If someone starts doing that, I'm out. Done. Done. You walk ahead of me, I'll just walk another way anymore. Forget it. Goodbye. Yeah, that's the worst. Fast walkers. Yeah, right. But then there's slow walkers. He used to walk fast ahead of me by about 3 feet. He liked it. It was ownership. To him, it meant control and dominance. All right. He would walk ahead of me. And then if I'd catch up and grab his hand, and then he'd put his hand like, okay, say that we're walking, blah, 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 blah. And he'd put his hand here. So that I had to reach up and over to grab it. And then he'd pull it forward. So he's walking with his hand here instead of at his side. That's not a game. And he'd say, I'm not doing that. Okay, you're not doing that. I'm imagining that your hand is floating a foot away from your body forward ahead of yourself, because everybody walks like that with their hands stiffly ahead of themselves. And then when I'd catch up, he'd slow down so that our pace never matched. Okay. Mine hated hand holding. I'm finally getting the validation I've struggled to find. Thank you so much. Good. Excellent. Does getting off on having this superiority or control fall into psychopath? It can. I think the narcissist gets off on it too. That's the nature of supply right there. They get fed. It's fuel. So yeah, they all get off on it. And getting off on it and knowing you're getting off on it might start veering towards psychopathy. Mine did that, always walked out ahead, crossing the street. I swear he timed it as a car was coming. It's like they're trying to devalue and deny you are even there. They are. It is a devaluing. And it's like an annoyance, right? It's like an annoyance that you're even there with them. Yep, dragging their servant around. Oh, yeah. Oh, that just triggers me a little bit. Yeah. Like they're trying to deny you're there. Your pace never matched. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? And we could just talk about hand holding for an hour and we'd all be like, okay. My cerebral walked ahead of me too. Okay. I'll stop contributing. You don't need to stop contributing to the Me Too. If this is validating, this is the point. You Me Too all you need. Okay. Never matched. It's creepy though. It is creepy. We annoy them with your presence. We do, but if our presence goes away, then they don't have supply, so they need us there. And that's part of the fuel. They like negative. Remember, they like negative supply. They need negative supply. They're not happy individuals inside. They need to constantly be facing the thing that they cannot fix in themselves. All right. Oh, I don't care if I'm triggered. I'm not really triggered. It's just like, ugh. Yeah. They tell you when to cross the road. Crazy. All the comments about the hand holding, isn't it? Look at that. That's a lot of comments just about one tiny little aspect of life. It's very telling when you look at the way people communicate in the world. Just look at the way communication happens. So much of it is in body language and physical exchange, especially when you have intimacy with anyone. A friend, it could just be the way a friend hugs you. When a friend gives you a side hug, there's a totally different meaning than when they give you the full-on bear hug, right? Yeah. And then these are these relationships we live in with toxic people. So much of it is in body language. How do you talk about the fact that that's abuse? They didn't hold my hand right. Sounds ridiculous, but it's part of the abuse, right? Okay. It isn't ridiculous. It's 100% valid. How about stink eye? Oh, yeah. The cold reptilian stare. And they all have it. So that's like, the narcissistic stare that I can't even emulate. Just can't do it with my eyes, but the cold stare. Have you, okay. Has anyone ever done it back? Like when I'm looking at someone who is a narcissist and they're giving me that stare, I can emulate it back. I can't do it. I can't imitate it now, but I can emulate it back. And I did that once. He caught on within a second and freaked out. How dare I give him such an evil look? And all I was doing was mimicking his own face. Wow. So they pretty much know they're doing it, in my opinion, if that's the case. At least he did. All right. And they don't blink. Right. Oh, it's the worst. Okay. The unwavering death stare. I never got the stink eye, but I got silent shaking of the head while he thought and said, I said something stupid. Oh, no. Right? That makes you feel like a child, if nothing else will. Not that we should be doing that to children either, but they do. They make you feel like a child, right? The cerebral narcissist can make you feel like you're about 5 and you don't understand anything. All right. The predator stare, that's different. The predator stare is the one where they lure you in my opinion. The predator stare is when they're on the hunt. It's when they're drawing you in and they're pulling you toward them with their stare. Different than the evil, cold, soulless stare that comes later when they're devaluing you. Okay. Mine used to give the middle finger if I photographed him. Oh my gosh. You know, it's interesting when you go on dating sites. There are people who post pictures of themselves doing that. And I first thought I have is that's a narcissist. Sure, people can make funny faces and do that, but I'm like, why would you put that if there wasn't something? Anyway, that's my thought anyway. The thinking burst into flames. Yeah, it is like they're thinking that. And you kind of wonder, like, what childish thought is going on in your head when you're making that face at me? To me, it's like, I control you. I own you. I am going to punish you with my eyes. That's how I always felt, like always punishing me with his eyes, and he knows it. All right. Soulless stare. Interesting you said that. It is a soulless stare. It is. It's almost, I always felt like he sucked back emotion into himself, and I was being stared at with pure ego. Ugh. Yuck. Okay, what did I say that was funny? I don't know. Okay. All right. You're laughing at me, but I don't know why. That's okay. I can laugh. So there's a couple more things I have here. They do seem, the cerebral narcissist does often seem to be drawn to more emotional people. I think it's because, well, all narcissists tend to be drawn to the empathic people, it seems like. But it seems like if they had another person that was purely intellectual, that didn't express emotion, that wasn't emotionally driven, then they wouldn't be gaining the supply that they need. Because I feel like it gives them a place to put you down. If you're if you react emotionally, and if you're an emotional thinker, which isn't a bad thing, it's actually a very good thing, right? If you're an emotional thinker, it gives them a place to negate what you're saying because it doesn't match the intellectual mindset and put you down. And without that, how can they devalue you? If you were purely intellect, it would just be an intellect battle, right? If it was one cerebral narcissist and another, it would be one of those horrible conversations where you're just bored to tears and somebody's trying to outsmart each other. So when they are drawn to people with the more intelligent, more emotionally intelligent and more empathic people, they are emotionally expressive and empathic people, they have somewhere to put you down. So they put you down for the very thing that is your wisdom, which is your ability to express your emotions openly. Yeah. And then you feel like you're stupid for having a feeling, and you're stupid for having a thought. So you're just stupid. It's bad. Okay. So rigid, it's unnatural. Yes. All the time. Butterfly mama, hello. Sometimes would want me to run after him, especially when he'd walk off and we were supposed to go somewhere. Lise, what is the difference between counterdependent and a narcissist? Oh, I have to look that word up again. Well, we can always say, come back to, with a narcissist, there is no empathy, zero, and someone with NPD, okay? People with narcissistic traits can have empathy. People with NPD do not. So there is no empathy, or limited empathy, or very low empathy. There is no accountability for their actions. I'm going to have to look it up, what the difference is there, because I don't actually know. how to answer that. Okay. Is cerebral narcissist would be ideal for running the country company's science because it's all about the facts, except without empathy. Do they care about other people? It's kind of like they're more cut out for running things where they can't fail. Neurosurgeons, if they fail, they look bad. Therefore, they want all their patients to survive. Does that make sense? So yeah, they could be, as long as it depends on the motive and the intention. Anyway, yeah. It seems very similar. It probably is very similar. I would have to look it up and understand it a little better. Made all the kids and everyone have to get involved with his running off. I used to apologize constantly, even for dumb stuff. What a contrast, isn't it? Mine said he has no conscience, but he has scruples. How do I process it? What he's saying is I have no empathy, but I have a moral code. That's exactly what I experienced. No empathy, meaning he doesn't feel for other people. He feels but he has a moral code, which he's calling scruples. Does that make sense? Like, I know it's wrong to steal, therefore I will never steal because I'm too good for that. Oh, I took this pen from work. But you see, that's not stealing because, and then they justify it. Right? So they can break their moral code, but usually they won't break the big parts of that moral code that they have, the things that they know that make them feel like they're better people, make them think that they are great and amazing and good people and blah, blah, blah. Right? But that they're not doing it. I don't steal because it hurts people, because it hurts a society, it hurts community. To me, there's no moral reason why I should have to pay for something. That's just a made up construct of our society in my mind. I don't go around taking because it hurts people. Even taking from a corporation hurts people. It hurts the people who work for the corporation because that our society is based on it. So to me, it's all based on empathy. To them, it's a moral code to make them look good. It's totally different, right? So isn't that psychopathic? It can be. I can't diagnose anyone, but have to. Yeah. I was told mine probably is when I described that. So yeah, Angela, I think you're onto something, but we don't know because he was not diagnosed by someone who can diagnose. We were just going on looking at symptomology from afar. And I'm also no one to diagnose, but the therapist was. So mine had a huge moral code. A lot of them do. That's what, and then that is where the covert and the cerebral kind of intersect as well. A lot of them do. They have a moral code. They have an ethical code to themselves, to their own sense of morality. That it's what makes them believe they're who they are. Okay. They don't steal or murder, so we should be grateful to them in their mind. Right. They are up there. Maybe they might have a moral code of I always help people in need when I see them. But at the same time, they're doing things to make people be in need. Does that make sense? But they'll help people if they see them. So it's this twisted code. I'm trying to think of of one that I have actually witnessed. It'll come to me. I can't understand. I cry over movies. I know, right? Okay. They could say, I don't steal, but then what's their definition of stealing? Exactly. I don't cheat. I have never cheated on anyone in my life. This is what this is what I've seen. I've never cheated on anyone. In fact, I've been cheated on. I know how it hurts. Okay, right there, created his moral standard. I know how it feels. I don't want to do that because I don't want to be seen as someone who does that. I don't want to do that because I know how it feels and I don't want to inflict that on someone else. I don't want to do that because I don't want to be the person that I'm better than that. I'm so much better than someone that would do that and make that happen and destroy their own life by doing this one thing. However, I will be on dating sites. I don't do anything. I just talk. That's the moral. That's their morals. Okay. I struggle to fathom not being able to understand someone else's pain. It's not only that they don't understand it. I think they can understand. Some of them can understand it. It's that they literally don't care. Because it isn't part of the delusion that is their ego, which is their whole world. So how can you be defending a world that doesn't exist, one that is purely based on how they perceive everything to be, and care what someone else, if you care what someone else thinks and you let them in with empathy, it changes your world. Think about how you could be having the worst day in the world or the greatest day in the world. You could be having your own experience in life and you experience someone else and your empathy is shared with them, how that changes the whole view of the life itself. They can't let that impact in because they're constantly protecting the fortress that is their ego, that is who they believe they are, which isn't a full baked personality because it's a bunch of masks. So they're constantly keeping those masks in place. There's no room for empathy, even if they could have it, but they don't. So it's also a brain firing thing. Remember, empathy isn't just this mysterious feeling. There's a part of your brain that's actually sparking and firing off when you have empathy in that moment, and they don't have that firing off. So it's they're wired different. They will flirt right in front of you, demeaning and disrespectful. Exactly. Dating sites, but not cheating. Bingo. Okay. They exchange numbers and deny. Yes, but they don't do anything. It's just harmless, right? It doesn't break the moral code. They didn't actually have intercourse. Okay. Oh, there's a little fluffy thing. Okay. It's so bizarre how they justify things. They are so obviously wrong. Right. Okay. So that's a narcissist for you, right? So back to the cerebral folks, snobby. I think that's it. For today with the cerebral narcissist. Whoa, we went long. It's like an hour and 15 minutes almost, you guys. Okay, we're gonna end this. Let's bring it up for a few minutes before we end, though. I have fluffy hair flying around you. I have puppy hair flying around me is what it was. I must have had something on me. Fluffy puppy hair. They have their own moral code. They have their own moral code unique to themselves. They don't live in societies. Right? I can actually see now when my ex switches masks right in front of me. Now that I know, isn't it freaky? Ugh, yeah. All right, let's bring this back up a bit. This was a good topic, but let's bring it up before we end. So, what do you want to talk about? I'm like talking to me. Talk to me, guys. It is amazing how they can switch masks, how fast they can switch masks, isn't it? Because it's mechanical. It's just trained reaction. Right? They have to hold the mask during situations that question the mask. So if they're wearing a mask, they're wearing the mask of whatever mood, whatever they want to project out. If nothing is threatening or questioning that mask, they can hold it for a long time. It's when we start doing things that are actual human things, where we're not falling in line, that the mask gets disturbed and they have to hold on so tight, and then they can flip masks because they're in response. So it's just reaction. They've learned to have quick reaction times, or they haven't learned. They just have quick reaction times because it's like stimulus response. They put on the next mask. You don't actually have to do anything to make that happen. It could be some thought they have that makes the mask switch. We don't know what it is, but yeah, they are like actors on stage. Tea, anyone? Thank you, Jack. I got a job and I'm breaking out of jail. I cannot wait, doing a victory dance. I'm so excited for you. They do switch quickly. Okay. What do you want to talk about this week? I had some suggestions and I can't remember them off the top of my head of what they were. Anybody have any suggestions for topics this week? Let me know, or for next week. Heading into the holidays, so we'll be doing some talks about different holiday coping strategies and all of that. Gosh, we're already heading into November, guys. All right. Just so you're aware, my rates right now are 35% off for hour coaching. If anyone needs that, it's a good deal. It brings it almost down a little bit higher than a half-hour rate. So basically a lot of time for less money. So hit me up if you need anything. The information is in the main description of every video. You can just click on scheduling an appointment, bam, it comes up. If you need help with narcissistic abuse recovery, head over to queenbeing.com as it is. There's lots of information over there, links to peer support groups and all that, so that you can get all the free help that's over there. And what else? Do they or don't they plan their abuse, or is it learned subconscious act? Both. They don't believe they're abusive. They think they're in defense, often. Some know it. A lot of times they just play the victim and they think they're in defense. So it really depends, but that's a good topic. Overcoming the double bind. Okay. You're welcome for talking about this, Jeannie. Okay. Narcissists have multiple masks year-round. They have so many masks, right? They are in denial of their own abuse. They often are. Actually, that is a good topic. And I should read the letter I wrote to him. I will reword it so that it's not personal, and I will shorten it because it's very long. And then I will tell you what was said afterwards, and you will see very much so how they deny their own abuse. Okay. Okay. What is a double bind? With my brain today, I'm going to wait to answer that. I don't know. I think I need lunch. I think that's what I'm going to do. All right. What else we have going on? Okay, that's it. All right. So anyone needs help, hit subscribe if you've not already done so, and hit the thumbs up if you enjoy this. And what else? If you would like text notification of my going live, text me at 33222. Put the word Lise Live, LISE, hit send. That's one word. Okay. All right. I think that's it. I think we're good. Sorry, I'm reading the comments and realizing that I'm on way longer than normal. So that's why I'm fading. Okay, heading out. You guys take care. I will see you tomorrow. I don't know what the topic is. We'll figure it out. I have stuff written down. So, whoa, that's got right. Okay, keep that there. We'll just do this. We'll end this like that. Okay. You guys take care. Okay, you guys are talking. Good. Hi, Phoenix. Bye, Phoenix. And all right. You take care. I'll see you tomorrow. And that's that. Bye-bye.